This is AJ Kierstead reporting for the Pierce Media Group. I'm at the Republican National Convention with Randy Bunks, the Northeast Regional Director for the Republican National Committee. So what does your job entail as the Regional Director?
Sure. I worked for the Republican National Committee since 2005 as the Regional Political Director for the Northeast states. I work with the state parties in New England, New Jersey, and New York. And I also have the opportunity to work with candidates for federal office, primarily in those states, but also work with state and local candidates to help them develop campaign strategy, to help them with voter contact and then turnout programs.
How much are you involved with policy? Do you help them create their policies so that they're staying along party lines or anything like that?
We don't get terribly involved in directing candidate policy. But instead we might help them work to identify the issues that would be most important for their district and help them to create the strategy for getting that message out. But in terms of actually setting policy for candidates, we don't really get involved in that. We allow candidates to run on their own platforms and then support their campaigns once they've settled on their positions.
A lot of people aren't familiar with what these national committees do, especially because it's covering so many states, especially with how the Republican Party mainly is a state-operated government as having a lot of power. What exactly is the day-to-day operations that the Republican National Committee does?
That's a great question. Our operations really extend from training local activists in their communities on how to conduct voter registration efforts, on how to turn out voters in their neighborhoods for local, state, and federal elections. We spend years, and have spent years historically, building our voter file, understanding who's registered in each precinct, trying to assign voter history to understand how often those folks turn out to vote, and then make predictions about how likely they are to support our candidates going forward. So our voter file is extensive. We have an elaborate communications operation, which in election years and in off years spends a lot of time trying to communicate a Republican message at the local level and again at the national level. We spend a lot of time building coalitions, working with everything from healthcare providers to business professionals and to educators and others who might be inclined to support our candidates, and enlarging those coalitions so that we have as broad-based support as possible going into election years. So spend a lot of time trying to build up state parties, but then working directly with candidates on all these different sorts of things.
There's 6 regional directors?
There are 7 of us all together. Yeah, so my region, like I said, includes New England, New Jersey, and New York. Then they're just sort of broken out geographically throughout the rest of the country.